All right, I need you to listen up. I understand that life is getting difficult, but you need to understand why it's getting difficult so that you can actually do things that can help fix it. You need to understand that AI and just technology as a whole is getting so advanced, and all that's doing is increasing the learning curve for a regular day-to-day person. And the problem with that is, if you want to be paid into proportion like you were just a few decades ago, then you need to be more valuable. I mean, think about it. You used to be able on one salary, one household salary, to be able to take care of an entire family. We're talking 4 to 8 years of college tuition, new family cars, groceries, mortgage, you name it. So what you need to understand is that if you want to be paid in proportion, you just simply need to become more valuable. So with that being said, in today's video, I'm going to try and ease your nerves, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break a few things down that are just going to help you get your life a little bit more in order. All right, listen up. I understand that life as a whole is just starting to get a little bit more difficult. I mean, you first need to just ask yourself, why is that the case? And I think there's quite an affinity that has happened. I think we see the AI and technology as a whole starting to increase in day-to-day lives, which is just increasing the learning curve for the average Joe. And as the learning curve increases, you got to understand that the people that are following this learning curve are just being paid more, while the people who are falling behind are being paid less. And I mean, think about it. Just a few decades ago, one household salary was literally able to pay for 8 years of college tuition, multiple household family cars, a household mortgage in general, all amenities, and making sure that the groceries were taken care of. In today's day and age, everybody feels like they're being underpaid. The problem is not that you're not being paid enough. The problem is you are not skilled enough to be paid what the people who are following the learning curve are actually being paid. You got to think about it. The average wage back in just a couple decades ago was $20,000 to $30,000 a year, and this was more than enough to cover all of the bills. And now in today's day and age, the average wage is what? $50,000 to $70,000. You got to understand that there are people who work at Apple who have followed the learning curve that are still getting paid upwards of $1 million a year. Now, in today's video, I want to try and ease your nerves, and I want to bring you in and kind of update you on all of the new things that have happened and the things that you need to catch up with if you want to quit getting left behind and actually start following the learning curve. All right, the first thing you can do that just completely eliminates the massive learning curve and just helps you catch up is just simply investing in the new era of education. What you need to understand is society as a whole has a backbone that's constructed of education. Every single thing that everybody does is based off of something that they've learned. And what you need to understand is education as a whole, the traditional education system, has not been updated since the late 1900s, I believe. The criteria to some degree has been updated, but the actual structure of the knowledge hasn't. And you're still being taught how to be a business administrator from somebody who's never been a business administrator. And these aren't things that even make sense. If you just simply look at the way that the traditional education system is still being played out, none of it makes sense. They're not teaching you the things that you need to learn, which is why you're falling behind on the learning curve so bad. I mean, they are still teaching you how to just be a regular business administrator in the middle of your college class. And the problem with this is it is a completely replaceable job. So the stuff that they're teaching you inside of these college classrooms are things that if you go and you learn how to do, you immediately are going to be replaced by AI to do the same thing, okay? That is ridiculous. And what you need to understand is there are so many education platforms outside of the traditional education system that are going to get you caught up to speed, okay? You can learn dropshipping. You can learn everything you need to know about AI agents. You can learn everything you need to know about AI in general. You can literally catch up and fast track your education within just a few months. What you need to understand is you can take somebody who has 5 to 6 years of business experience and you can buy it for what, $1,000 to $2,000, opposed to taking the education from somebody who has never owned a business and paying upwards of $50,000 a year for it, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. One of them gives you real world life experience, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, you name it. And then the other one, on the other hand, gives you something written out of a textbook. Listen, if you you want to catch up with this learning curve, you need to fast track your knowledge. And there's no better way to fast track your knowledge than to simply buy something for $2,000 and catch up with 10 years of actual innate and intrinsic experience that somebody has. The new era of education, I think, is genuinely going to replace the traditional education system. I mean, when I'm personally doing any kind of hiring for my business, one of the things that I look at is not what college did you go to, but what online education platforms have you bought in and have you been a part of? And I know this is going to sound funny, but I'm so serious. I mean, if somebody comes to me and they tell me that they went to Harvard University and they want to work for me, I'm going to tell them I really don't care. Something that's going to hold a whole lot more weight for me is if somebody graduated from Hustlers University. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm so serious right now. One of them teaches you how to actually utilize modern day wealth creations, and then one of them teaches you the old school ways of running a business and the economics behind it. Bro, screw your economics, okay? There are so many more things to understand about business outside of just analytics and economics, okay? Please invest into yourself and invest into the new era of education, because it is what is going to help you catch up to this fucking learning curve. And the next one I know is going to sound quite counterintuitive, but it's actually to accept that it is starting to get harder, accept that life is starting to get harder. And I'm genuinely a bit concerned for the new generations to come. I think that being born in the 2000s, early 2000s, some 2001, I think that I'm one of the last generations that life is even generally easy. I think that the learning curve is going to start to get so incredibly steep. I mean, think about it. I mean, just a few years ago, all you needed to really know how to do was just load up a Shopify account and you'd make a lot of money. In today's day and age, you need to know how to use AI and then how to create AI agents if you want to make the same money that you used to be able to make a few years ago with Shopify. How insane is the learning curve getting? And so I'm genuinely afraid for the new generations to come. I think that they're going to have such a massive learning curve, and the traditional education system is not going to be able to catch them up with it. So the only way that they're ever going to be able to catch up is to invest in the new era of learning. And one of the things that I think is so massively important is that you understand and truly accept that things are getting hard instead of pretending like it doesn't. A lot of people that I talk to are just completely complacent with the way that life is going right now, and I do not understand how that is even a possibility. I mean, we're seeing AI replace millions and millions and millions of jobs. I mean, by the year of, I think, 2030, there's going to be over 300 million jobs that are replaced by AI, or I think it's only 6 million jobs that are going to be created. Holy shit. Like, everything is starting to be ran by AI. And until you accept this, you're never going to make a change. If you decide to just ignore it, then, I mean, you're just going to get eaten alive. I mean, look at your paycheck now compared to what it was just a few decades ago. Everything is starting to get harder, and you need to accept that that is a fact, and you need to accept that that is the way that life is going. And there's only one thing that you can do about it, and it's to fix it yourself. And until you do something about it, your life is just going to continue to be mediocre. I can promise you that. And listen, the point of this video was not to scare you. As a matter of fact, it was ideally to inspire you. I mean, the new age of education is one of the most exciting things in the entire world. I was never a big fan of traditional education, but I find myself spending a lot more money than I probably should on this new era of education, because genuinely, I mean, and I don't want to, be redundant about this point, but being able to buy somebody's 10 years of experience and inject it into your own brain and into your own workflow and your own day-to-day life within just a few hours or just a few days, maybe even a couple months of, ingesting all of the information is fucking insane. It is so exciting that there is a platform that you can learn all of this education from. I mean, think about it. Just a couple years ago, WAP did not exist. School did not exist. The only way for you to actually ingest education was by some scammy John on YouTube selling you his course. But now you have people that are creating real and genuine products day in and day out that allow you to ingest this much education in just a few months. It's crazy to me. And then alongside that, it's not to scare you saying that, you need to accept it. As a matter of fact, it's to me, it serves as a motivator. I mean, when you're ignorant to the idea of change, but you understand entirely that it is changing and it's getting more difficult, then all you're doing is digging yourself into a deeper hole. But the day that you fully accept it is the day that you start taking self-accountability. And when you start taking self-accountability, you start to get excited about the things that are going to happen because you fully understand that everything is in your control and luck does not exist. And since luck doesn't exist, it means that you actually have control over everything inside of your life. Because if you do X, you always get Y, which means you just having full 100% self-accountability literally puts the world at your hands and you can achieve anything that you want. But only if you accept that it's actually starting to get difficult and you need to move. Because if you're somebody that just hasn't moved yet, then you don't really have any motivators to move until you start accepting the fact that things are getting difficult and all you're going to do is just keep getting eaten alive. But other than that, I'll see you in the next video.